Welcome back and thank you for joining us. You know, we've got an interview today with John Thompson, and he is a clerk over at the city of Andalusia.
Yes, sir.
Been a clerk for a few years now, ain't you, buddy?
I'm on my 11th year. Going
Wow.
on my 11th year.
And you know, you have your youngest son is a freshman at Auburn, for
That's
goodness
right.
sakes. And I can't get that in my mind. Can't wrap my arms around that
I've
one.
got a junior at Alabama and a freshman at Auburn, so
Wow.
there's balance amongst
So
the
you
four.
need a job.
I need
You
a
need a
couple
job.
more. Yes, I do.
I just want to tell you before we get started on the interview that I've interviewed a lot of people from out of town. And I interviewed Count Darling, who lived here a long time ago. And we've gotten a lot of response. We did an hour interview with
Oh,
him,
wow.
and it was
Good
wonderful. But over and over again, everybody that comes back to town for homecoming or for family vacations or for, funerals, every one of them to a T honestly say what a beautiful town we have. And they're impressed by the trees and the plants and the grass is cut. And I just want you to pass it
I
along
certainly will.
to all the guys that
Well, it starts with the mayor and city council. They're the ones that make the choices, make investments, and set our budget and allow us to do those things. And then I got to give credit to our employees who are out there in the field every day, who are handling weed eaters and lawnmowers and planting and doing the hard back-breaking work of putting things in the ground, keeping them watered, and changing things out. They're constantly changing flowers for the seasons and so forth. They've got a beautiful fall display up on the middle of the square, the wagon and the mums, and they do. And pretty soon that'll be coming down, and the Christmas will be goes. As you know, a huge Christmas tree in the center of the square, and all of that's done by pretty much the same people, year round, and they deserve a lot of credit because they have a lot of pride, take a lot of pride in their work, and they appreciate when we notice it and mention it to them. So thank you for.
Well, you don't have to go far to see other towns that aren't as fortunate.
That's right.
But the good thing is you got a good crew that packs those decorations up, and you can use them again the next
Oh, yeah.
year.
These are investments we make that are long term. I can't remember now the year we bought that Christmas tree, but it's 80 feet. It's a huge tree. You should see it from quite a distance around. It's beautifully lit, but it takes a lot of work. You're right. It has to be carefully packed away, stored over the summer and the rest of the year, and all the little. It's like the ones we put up at home. All the little lights. Don't work when you get it back out next year.
It's really about 4 or 5 weeks before Candyland starts coming together.
That's right.
It'll be here before you know it, John.
That's right.
Well, I saw, one thing that really about the meeting is the animal shelter contract with Covenant County. I didn't realize how many animals from the county we take in.
Quite a few. I don't have the statistics in
No,
my
it was-
head.
it was
but
a lot of
There's
them.
quite a number of animals that the animal shelter processes, both from inside Andalusia and outside in the county. And that's what that contract is about. We process animals for the county. It's about 2 to 1 county to city animals. As you can imagine, Andalusia is a much smaller place, but the population density is much greater. And it's a terrible business to be in. The animal shelter is not a pleasant project that the city must undertake because it's a health issue. They have
Absolutely.
to have it. Unfortunately, people generally do not take care of animals. They don't spay and neuter. They feed stray animals and without taking the veterinary precautions that you have to take. Otherwise, it would be a problem for our safety. So animal shelter is an absolute must. It's not something that we enjoy. We have dedicated people that work daily at the animal shelter. We have 2 employees that manage the animal shelter daily. It's part of the police department, so I commend the police chief and all of his employees and his staff at the animal shelter for doing a great job with that because it's not pleasant work, but it's very, very necessary. And a large number of animals are adopted, and that's the pleasant side of it. We save a lot of animals. A lot of cats and dogs are adopted at the shelter, and I encourage you, if you ever desire a pet, to please go to the animal shelter. There's some wonderful pets to be adopted there. And our Humane Society, the Andalusia Area Humane Society, does a fantastic work with that. They work together and try to promote adoption and spay and neuter in animals, and I commend those people for the hard work that they do. And again, it's a necessary part of city business.
Well, John, I talked to 2 people actually this month. One lives in the county and one lives in the city. And it was 2 women, and both of them said they saw a raccoon in the daytime. Well, that's a sign that there may be something wrong with the raccoon.
Right.
And that's why you have to do this, because that would
Rabies
be
is out there.
That would be serious.
It would be.
And these weren't true. These were grown people that saw him, and
It's verifiable.
So verifiable. Yeah.
So that makes the point that rabies exists out there. We get cases from time to time, and if we don't keep our animal population, our domesticated animal population vaccinated, then we could have a very, very serious health problem.
I see we contracted with the county for inmates at $24 a day.
That's right.
That's pretty
$24 a
reasonable,
day.
isn't it? Yeah.
It is very reasonable when you consider the cost that the county incurs building a jail facility, the staffing, the insurance, all the things that, as you well know, that go into any operation go into that one, and there's quite a bit of liability with the nature of that. So $24.
Do we just have temporary inmates? Or,
That's right.
Yeah.
The city doesn't have any long-term, generally speaking. Now that's between the judge and his those that he sentences, and on occasion there are those habitual offenders who get locked up for an extended period. But luckily, the city's code doesn't have many violations. Most of those are state violations that you would find that people be long-term incarcerated.
Right.
So it's not a undue burden, but yes, it's another necessary part of city business that must be dealt with from time to time, and we're grateful that the county.
They just send you a bill at the end of the
They
month?
certainly do. Every month we get a bill and
Okay.
pay for what prisoners that are housed at the Covington County Jail.
Well, that sure is better than owning your own jail,
Yes,
isn't
it
it?
is.
What about the fire department maintenance?
They had a roof issue, a leaking roof at the fire department, and you're talking about some great employees. Those same employees that are responsible for a lot of beautification are also responsible for maintenance across the city, and they do a wonderful job. These are talented artisans that are able to do repairs and do maintenance work for us that we don't have to contract. We can absorb in our own workforce, and saves us a lot of money, a lot of taxpayer money saved regularly. And this has to do with the roof at the fire station. Chief Dorsey had numerous leaks in the building, and our maintenance staff is going to go over and basically fix the roof for pennies on the dollar. I think put a whole new roof on,
Isn't that wonderful?
seal the roof. So yeah,
But you know, in the local Andalusia newspaper, they had the photographs of Shirley had been there 30.
yeah. How about that, Shirley Cannon? 37 years.
And then look at the crowd that had been there 25
Yeah.
years and 20 years.
That's an amazing level of service. We have a lot of long-term employees with the city of Andalusia. If you add it all up, all those that won awards and those that have not been there just for a year or two, it's something like 2,000 years of service for over 200 employees. So we're quite an organization with a lot of experience.
Well, anybody that's ever worked for a living and had a business or even had a farm or whatever, you know, if you've got somebody that can pick up the trash and they know where they're you know, when they pick up my hobo, it's the same time, consistently.
Right.
Now that's worth something.
It is. And if you put something at the street, if you cut down a tree or pull bushes up out of your yard, you pile them out there, they're going to be picked up the same, mostly on the same, not the same schedule as your garbage, but the same time every week as the same stuff is picked up. No matter what the weather is, if it's 100 degrees or if it's 10 degrees, if it's raining or whatever, it's going to be collected, and they do a marvelous job for us. We're, as citizens, spoiled with the service we get from our street department, public works department.
We're so blessed to have employees that have been here 20 and 25 years, and the ones that got out there this summer when it was so hot and weed eated. And you know, some people say, well, they shouldn't have to water the plants. Well, if they didn't water the plants,
They die.
They die. You know,
Exactly.
look in front of the post office, in front of the old Coca-Cola plant. How wonderful!
And those are landscaping easements that we have all over the city.
Yeah.
We get private property on occasion, and private property gives us an easement to go in and plant that and beautify it. Sometimes it's public property, sometimes it's on the right of way, and that's just, we just go in and do it. But if it's not, it's a situation where a private entity gives us a right of way, landscaping right of way. We go in and irrigate and put the plants and trees or whatever the case may be in, and as you say, keep it watered or it'll die.
Well, our schools and the beauty of our community, it attracts business, and all those little things
That's right.
just add up to.
Well, that's the idea behind it. It is an idea to create investment or create the environment for investment. If we don't invest in ourselves, can we expect others to invest in us?
No. I went to a wedding Saturday, and the reception was at Springdale, and it's right at the sunset, and the sun set naturally. I was looking towards City Hall, and there were people. There was a lady from California,
How about that?
a guy from Costa Rica,
Wow.
and 3 people from North Carolina. And I said, yeah, I went to grammar school there, and you know, she said, that would have been a real shame if they'd torn that down. She said, this is unbelievable how beautiful this is.
It really is.
Once again, people from out of town. And please, if you live in this town and you're watching this show and you think the town looks good, call somebody and thank them, because we ought to be grateful to live in a place that's this clean, for goodness sake.
Thank you. Again, these people that work in these jobs daily, the ones that deserve all the credit, the mayor and city council give us the tools to give us the dollars in the budget and the tools that we need to do these jobs, and they're the ones that deserve all the credit.
Well, what about, you always have some abatements, don't you?
Yes, we do. We had a handful. Luckily, this time of year, this begins to decrease somewhat. Those were weed and grass abatements, and we do a handful of those. Almost every city council meeting, there were 2 or 3 the other night, and they were the run-of-the-mill.
Yeah, just
And
business.
again, that's maintenance, and that's our people out doing their job, working to make sure that Andalusia is as clean and pretty as it possibly can be within the
They
confines
actually
of the law.
clean the yard and charge the
Those were
property.
not. Those were just put in the abatement program. That could be next. That was not assessing the cost and so forth and actually doing the work.
Okay.
There's 2 different kinds, but that one was just finding that those are, that they need abating and that the process will begin.
Did you get all your board positions filled for the library and the
Yes, we
industrial
did.
board?
We had one opening on the Andalusia Public Library, and Nancy Hammett has been on that board for many years and was reappointed by the city council to continue on that board.
That's great, because she's been in charge of that study club down there, and let me tell you, those ladies, they're serious about our
They are.
Andalusia
Well, you
library.
know about that. It's been around forever, and there's a lot of history behind the study club and the formation of the library, and we're very fortunate to have a group today that are sort of descendants of those, that are filling those same positions and doing that work. The library, we kind of take it for granted because we've had it for so long, but it is a very, very important part of any community that has one. It's lucky enough to have one, and ours is fantastic.
Well, they have books for the sight impaired, and they'll actually bring them to your house. So don't be afraid to call the library.
Call Andalusia
And
Public Library.
if you
Karen
can read them,
Taylor.
they've got big print books
They
also.
do. They have
They got things for
fantastic-
children all the way to people my age
have an
and older.
electronic internet room, and yeah, you can go there. The resources there, genealogy, it's just amazing what all we have at the Andalusia Public Library.
And people from out of town, they come from Texas to find out about their family, and they research the cemeteries. That information is there,
That's right.
and that's amazing.
It is.
It truly is. And let's see, Public Works equipment.
We purchased, the city council approved the purchase of a backhoe. I'm maybe misdescribing that because I'm not familiar
Probably
with
what it is.
heavy equipment, but it's typical with the city of Andalusia. We use things until the goodie is gone, if you will. There's no telling how many hours that piece of equipment had on it and how many times it had been repaired. And the city council is very serious about replacing some extremely old equipment, and that was one of the worst examples. That backhoe, how old and deteriorated it had become, and how badly it needed to be replaced. So they approved the purchase of a new backhoe, and there are 2 other pieces of equipment: a loader and a front end loader and a bulldozer.
A bulldozer.
That is used daily at the landfill to pack and bury solid waste that's buried in the landfill. So they took those last two pieces under advisement. They're considering ways to purchase them and put that off to the next meeting. So that's what that was about.
I see where Reverend Dr. Cindy Howard came and told about the Bethesda house.
She did. She and 2 other members of her board were present and gave a report on their efforts to get the Bethesda house. It's an amazing story. It's something that the city council was very interested in hearing, and something I think that they want to support in the future, and it's sort of laying the groundwork for how that might happen.
Well, for our viewers, the Bethesda house is a house it's in Covenant County, and it's for battered women.
Right.
And men too, I guess. Yes, it could be. No, that one's for women.
I think so.
But I went to Comfort Care Hospice, had a summit last week, and the health care of our county, you talking about being grateful.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a great hospital in Mizell that has a 15-bed geriatric psych ward. Really, if you work outside for 40 years in the sun, or like me, you work for 40 years in a hardware store, and then you retire, that first year is kind of rough. And they'll do your blood test and find out if you need some chemicals, check your everything,
Yeah.
And people don't stay there but a weekend usually. But then there were 500 people working in Covenant County just in the nursing home.
Wow.
And Andalusia Regional Hospital's got brand new imaging. They've got, and you're going to build a sidewalk all the way out there. I hope.
Yes. The plans aren't complete, but the sidewalk is going probably not on both sides of South 39th Street
Right.
all the way out, but on probably both sides for some distance, and then one side for the balance of the distance.
Right.
So, healthcare, unless you're affected by it, unless you're either work in it or use it, when you don't use it, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. But the
Right.
healthcare industry in Covington County and Andalusia is truly amazing. There are quite a number of people and families in Andalusia who depend upon health care either as an employment, a source of income, or for health.
The services.
Right.
And, you know, just recently, Florella, you know, if they have to call Andalusia for a rescue squad, you're talking about an hour, 30 minutes here, and they don't have a hospital in Florella. So let me tell you something. We need to be grateful for all the services we have. And really, people are talking about the beauty of the schools. The people from out of town said how beautiful our grammar school was.
Great.
You know, I just wanted to brag on us a little bit.
Well, thank you. And that goes back to the city council and school board. They work hand in hand. I know that Mayor Johnson and Superintendent Watson work extremely well together. All the school board members and city council members work very well together, and that's why we see so much going on with our school system, so much progress, so much innovation, and there's much more to come. This is an exciting time to be a part of both entities.
Great time to live in Andalusia.
It really is. Well, we've talked about for a long time, we've got to create opportunities for our young, we're graduating young people and sending them out into other economies to make contributions, and we've got to create more opportunities for them to come home to, and that's what this is all about.
There are people out beating the bushes right now. Did we miss anything, John, about the county?
I think we covered the city council meeting. Mayor Johnson sends his apologies. Sorry he couldn't be here. And
Well, we want him to work. We don't want. We'd
he's
rather
out
have,
working.
Yeah,
That's
we,
right.
yeah, we
He's
want
out
him to work.
as you said, beating the bushes. He's out drumming up business right now. So
That's
all
good.
can't be done here in Andalusia.
No, you gotta get on the road. Well, John Thompson, clerk of the city of Andalusia, thank you for being here today, and thank y'all for watching. And remember, be grateful for what we have, because we really have something to be grateful for.